Imagine walking into your favorite fast food place and realizing something odd. The menu looks empty. The combos feel incomplete. Kids aren't excited, adults look confused, and something familiar is missing. Now picture this. In this world, chicken nuggets were never invented. It sounds small, almost harmless at first. After all, they're just little pieces of fried chicken. But look closer, and you'll see how deeply nuggets shaped American food culture. Without them, fast food history takes a completely different path. Parents lose their easiest go-to option for road trips. Busy workers lose a quick comfort snack. Even school lunches look different, missing the one item that almost everyone agreed on. Chicken nuggets didn't become iconic by accident. They became part of American life because they fit into every situation. Too tired to cook. Nuggets, stopping by a drive-thru. Nuggets, kids who refuse everything else. Nuggets, late-night craving. Nuggets, again. They were simple, reliable, and strangely comforting. Without them, the fast food world feels unbalanced, like something essential never clicked into place. Now imagine a mother in the late 80s standing in a drive-thru line with 2 hungry kids in the back seat. In our world, she orders nuggets and keeps the peace. In this alternate universe, she is stuck between a burger her kids want to eat and a meal that feels too big. That tiny moment of convenience, repeated millions of times across the country, disappears. And convenience is part of what shaped America's food identity. Even economics change. Nuggets helped fast food chains grow, helped lunch menus scale, helped restaurants create value meals that became cultural staples. Without nuggets, these chains would chase other ideas. Maybe mini sandwiches would take over. Maybe popcorn chicken would rise earlier. Maybe fries would become even more dominant. But none of those options replace the unique simplicity of nuggets, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, and so easy to eat that even a 3-year-old could manage. And then there's nostalgia. Adults between 30 and 50 grew up in an era when nuggets were more than food. They were part of childhood. Birthday parties, school cafeterias, family movie nights, early memories of dipping sauces and drive-thru windows. Without nuggets, that entire generation's shared food memory changes. The emotional connection to fast food becomes weaker, less vibrant, less collective. But here's the most interesting part. Without chicken nuggets, America might never have developed its obsession with bite-sized comfort food. The idea of quick, small, easy-to-eat snacks could have evolved differently. Maybe something healthier would have taken its place. Or maybe something far more indulgent. The gap left behind would push both restaurants and families toward new habits, new favorites, and new versions of comfort. If you enjoy exploring these alternate what-if worlds and how a single food can change culture, keep following the channel for more stories like this. Sometimes all it takes is removing one small item from the menu to see just how much it shaped the world we live in. In a world without onion soup, the story of American comfort food shifts in ways most people never think about. To understand what would be missing, you have to look at how this simple dish quietly shaped decades of cold evenings, small celebrations, and quiet routines. Onion soup didn't become iconic because it was fancy. It became iconic because it understood something important about people. On the hardest days, warmth matters more than complexity. Imagine America during the early years of diners, when travelers stopped at roadside counters and ordered what felt familiar. Without onion soup, one of the country's earliest comfort staples would never take hold. People would search for something that tasted like home, but they wouldn't find the same slow, mellow sweetness that only hours of cooking onions can create. The cultural bond between diners and comfort food would feel different, thinner, almost incomplete. Think about restaurants that rely on warmth as part of their identity. The cozy places where the lights are low, the windows fog up in winter, and every table carries the scent of something slow-cooked. Without onion soup, those places lose one of their most grounding dishes. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it has a way of setting the tone. It makes a space feel like somewhere you can stay longer than you planned. Without it, chefs might turn to other soups, maybe tomato, maybe chowder, but none of them offer the same emotional weight. That deep caramel flavor isn't something you can fake. For people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, onion soup sits quietly in the backdrop of memory. It's the dish you didn't eat every day, but when you did, it meant something. Maybe you ordered it during the first real cold front of the year. Maybe it came with a slice of bread, so perfectly toasted you remember the crunch. Maybe you shared it with someone important to you, and without realizing it, the moment attached itself to the flavor. Food does that. It stores time. Without onion soup, a lot of those small, private memories simply never form. Even cooking culture would change. Many home cooks learn patience through dishes like this one. The kind of patience that teaches you to let onions sit on low heat until they turn brown, sweet, and soft. Without that process, people would lose one of the earliest lessons in slow, careful cooking. A generation might grow up thinking comfort food is always fast, forgetting that some flavors are only born after time does its work. And here is where it becomes clear just how much one dish can influence a country. Without onion soup, the rhythm of winter cooking shifts, the mood of diners shifts, the texture of memories shifts. The absence of a single bowl changes the emotional landscape of countless moments. If you're enjoying exploring these alternate worlds and want more thought-provoking food stories, make sure to stay connected to the channel so you don't miss the next part in this series. In a world without chicken nuggets, the biggest shift would show up not in fast food restaurants, but in the way Americans understand comfort. Nuggets didn't just fill stomachs, they filled the need for something familiar, something predictable, something easy. Without them, the country's relationship with quick comfort food changes dramatically. People would look for substitutes, but substitutes rarely carry the same emotional weight as the original. Imagine the 90s without chicken nuggets. No kids' meals built around small, crispy bites. No parents relying on a simple order to avoid dinner table negotiations. No freezer aisle bags that made busy evenings easier. Instead, America would try to fill the void with foods that were close, but never quite right. Mini sandwiches would show up, but they'd be too heavy. Small slices of pizza would appear, but they'd be messy. Popcorn chicken would grow in popularity, but it wouldn't have that smooth, soft texture. Nuggets became famous for every option would be almost, but nothing would become the default choice. Adults today, especially those between 30 and 50, remember a childhood where nuggets played a bigger role than anyone admitted. Birthday parties, amusement parks, school events, sleepovers. Nuggets were part of the background. They were the safe choice in a world of unpredictable childhood tastes. Without them, entire social experiences shift. Kids grow up divided by food preferences instead of united by a universal favorite. Parents become more cautious about outings because meals become unpredictable. Even simple family memories lose one of their easiest ingredients. And then there's the role nuggets played in shaping convenience culture. When nuggets became popular, they taught restaurants something important. Americans didn't just want food fast. They wanted food that felt effortless, something you could eat while walking, driving, chatting, or doing nothing at all. Without that lesson, fast food evolves differently. Portions might become larger instead of smaller. Menu items might become fewer instead of more flexible. The idea of grab-and-go meals would take longer to mature, slowing down a major shift in American lifestyle. Pop culture changes too. The jokes, the commercials, the trends. Nuggets quietly became part of the national humor and identity. Without them, memes lose a favorite topic. Comedy loses a simple punchline. TV ads lose one of their easiest hooks. Food marketing would focus more on full meals and less on fun-sized bites. American food becomes more serious, less playful. Even the dipping sauce universe changes dramatically. Sauces became popular because nuggets made them necessary. They encouraged people to mix, experiment, personalize. Without nuggets, the idea of customizing fast food loses momentum. Ranch, honey mustard, sweet and sour, barbecue. Many of these flavors wouldn't become household staples as early or as widely. The flavor identity of America becomes flatter, simpler, less expressive. So the question becomes, if nuggets never existed, what would eventually rise to claim their place? And would it shape America the same way emotionally, culturally, and historically? If you're ready, the final part will tie everything together and reveal what America's food world might look like today in this alternate timeline. Sometimes a world changes slowly, and sometimes it changes all at once. In the universe where fried chicken never existed, the shift happened almost overnight. People realized something unusual. Life didn't feel the same, but they couldn't explain why. Not emptiness, not sadness, just a strange lack of spark. The kind of feeling you get when a familiar song disappears from your playlist and you can't remember the lyrics anymore. It started in the South first, because that's where the loss was felt the deepest. Families gathered for Sunday meals but noticed the silence between conversations. Restaurants still served food, but without that iconic crackle in the kitchen, the atmosphere felt thin, almost hollow. People didn't talk about it openly, but they felt it. The world had lost one of its warmest rituals. Then something unexpected happened. A small group of chefs, food historians, and everyday Americans came together not to recreate fried chicken, since it had never been invented in this world, but to figure out why comfort felt missing. They studied old patterns, cultural habits, and emotional triggers. They asked a question so simple that it changed everything. What did fried chicken give us emotionally, even though it never existed? Their answer was shocking. Fried chicken wasn't just a food, it was a bridge between generations, between strangers at a table, between a stressful week and a gentle moment of relief. Even in a world where it never existed, people still carried the emotional need for it, a need for warmth, for community, for a moment of celebration in an ordinary day. So the chefs began working together, trying to craft a dish that could give people the same feeling fried chicken would have given them if it had ever been real. They experimented with spices, textures, cooking methods, and cultural inspiration. They wanted something crispy enough to create joy, comforting enough to quiet the mind, and familiar enough to bring people together. One evening, after months of failed attempts, a chef from Memphis accidentally stumbled on something. He created a crust that was light yet crunchy, seasoned but not overwhelming, comforting but not heavy. When people tasted it, they didn't know what fried chicken was, but they knew this feeling. It was warmth, it was relief, it was connection. Word spread fast. The dish traveled across states like a forgotten memory trying to return home. Families gathered again. Restaurants buzzed again. Conversations came back. Something inside people clicked into place. And then came the final twist, the realization everyone had been waiting for. Humans don't just crave food, they crave meaning, comfort, belonging, and shared moments. Fried chicken in our real world became iconic because it carried all these emotions inside every bite. In this alternate world, people finally understood that truth. Before we end, if you enjoy stories that mix American food with what-if realities, make sure you stay connected, because more mind-bending episodes are coming. Your support helps shape the next story. Narrator pauses, then adds softly. If one dish could restore a world's sense of comfort, imagine how many more stories are waiting to be explored.